Okay. Hopefully we won't have to do that anymore. Okay, the next question is possibly tied to that. There was mention of drunk driving deaths, and obviously not all fatal car crashes are caused by drunk driving, but the question is, what is the role of the sheriff in a fatal car crash, and explain how you handle or would handle the role of notifying a family of a death? And we'll start with that.
Well, the role of the sheriff and the sheriff's department is to investigate it, make any arrests if necessary, and see that prosecution through the court system. We are seeing a decline in state patrol in this area. I had a conversation with a trooper the other night who says he doesn't foresee new troopers coming down here in the near future. So our role in investigating these types of crashes is going to become more maybe not difficult, but more common. And myself and Nate both attended advanced traffic crash schools, and I think that'd be a good idea to make sure we have people in that level of education within the department. I'm sorry, what was the second question?
How you handle or would handle the role of notifying a family of a death?
Well, I've been in that situation numerous times over the years. It's never easy, it never will be easy. And the best way to do it is direct. Stay with the family as long as the family wants you there, make sure other people are there, whether it be clergy or family members before you continue on. But like I said, there's only one way to do it, and that's a direct approach.
Okay, Nate.
Well, our role, as Ed said, is to investigate. And the good thing is we've got many years of experience out on patrol that are very adept at investigating crashes involving these type of things. I've been to too many fatal car crashes over the years, and the deputies that are out there working them, they do such a fantastic job putting it together, investigating and documenting what happened, measurements, photographs, so on and so forth. That when I go to a scene, that there's the deputy investigating, there's somebody that's in charge on the scene. I just ask, how are things going? What other resources do you need? Those kind of things to make sure that they have what they need there to properly investigate. Now, the second part of that is going in and notifying family of a death. And I tell you what, 2 weeks on the job as sheriff, and I had to do that. One of the hardest things I've ever done in my life. I mean, I've done other ones in the past, as going along, but I had to go tell this lady at work that her husband just got killed in a crash. It was not alcohol related, it was something different. But going there, and you do have to be direct, but at the same time, you want to make sure that you have compassion and empathy as you sit across the table from this person and tell them that they just lost a loved one. And I think that's one of the things that that we really have to stress as a sheriff going in there and making sure I have somebody with me, and immediately ask them, hey, other family members, who do you want here? Do you want clergy here? Who can I contact to have you come in? And yes, you will wait with them until somebody is there to offer them the proper support. It's a very difficult situation to be in, but you can do it with compassion.
Okay. I'm sure you can guess, based on this question, that a Republican sent in this question. The question is, why are you a member of the Republican Party? And we'll start with Nate.
Well, I've been a member of the Republican Party for quite a few years now. And, I'm a conservative, and I have conservative ideals. I also believe in being fiscally responsible. It's your taxpayer money. I want to make sure that I'm responsible with that. And so those, as well as, protecting your taxpayer money and believing in strong public safety. So those are just some of the basic reasons why I've been a member of the Republican Party for quite a few years now.
Okay, Ed.
Before I decided to run for sheriff, I was a member of no party. When I made this decision, I researched the parties. I researched the Democratic Party first, and then I researched the Republican Party. I looked at the circumstance I was in. What was going to give me the best chance of winning this? I had a member of the Democratic Party ask me why I was running Democrat. Democrats don't win in this county, and that's true. So I made the decision to run Republican. Prior to becoming a Republican, my beliefs definitely lied along that lines. That's why after I checked out the Democratic Party, I backed away from them.
Okay, well, if you like that question, you'll love this next one. There are organizations, you may have heard of them, the Constitutional Sheriffs and Peace Officers Association, the County Sheriff's Project, and the Oath Keepers are three of them. And these are organizations that disagree with the federal government on such issues as Second Amendment rights and immigration law, and they believe that county sheriffs do not have to enforce federal laws and do not have to assist federal officers enforce federal laws. The sheriff of the largest county population-wise in this state, Milwaukee County Sheriff David Clark, said earlier this year he would refuse to enforce any kind of federal gun control that includes gun confiscation. So, what is your position on these kinds of movements and I guess what you'd call, for lack of a better term, federal nullification? And Ed gets to start.
Well, it certainly doesn't sound like a good idea to me. I am not familiar with these organizations, but I'm familiar with what they're preaching and the points they're trying to make. And I would definitely have to say I'm against it. We have to look at unity on the state, locals, and federal levels. And if we start separating ourselves farther and farther and farther in any area, there's nothing good going to come out of that.
Okay, Nate.
Well, I think it provides a unique challenge as you look at those different groups, because some of them have some pretty radical ideas out there. But I'm a constitutional officer. I'm bound by the Wisconsin Constitution as well as the United States Constitution. And I believe in the right to bear arms and the Second Amendment. So, you know, should the federal government come in and try and step on citizens here in Grant County, that's a decision I'll have to make at that time to determine what course of action I want to take. But I believe in, in your Second Amendment rights. That's what this country's founded on.
Okay. Is there an issue that hasn't come up yet, or hasn't come up at all during the campaign, maybe it was that last question, an issue that hasn't come up tonight that you feel strongly about, and if so, what is your position about this issue? We'll start with Nate.
Well, I don't think there's anything that hasn't come up. I think we've pretty much covered all the different issues that are out there that between the two candidates. But the only thing I want to reiterate is that, if you look over the past 2 years and what I've done, I think you find as a sheriff, I'm somebody that's very approachable, very open to listening to citizens and what's going on, as well as being recently characterized as being forward-thinking, and that's planning for the future. I mean, in addition to the dispatch and the jail and the different things we talked about, one thing that I guess wasn't brought up was text to 911. That's a nationwide trend that's coming that we have to be ready for down the road here before too long, because citizens are going to expect that they're going to be able to text to 911. You take Hurricane Katrina, when all the, down in New Orleans, when all the communications and all that were shot down there because of the hurricane, people were still able to text. So if we can get to that point where you don't have a strong enough cell signal to call, but you can text, that's going to allow for more information to be given to public safety so that we can in turn respond and help them out. So, my biggest thing is that not only the issues that I talked about, with heroin and transparency and customer service, all that, but we need to plan for the future. We need to plan for facility improvements, we need to plan for communications improvements, we need to plan for day-to-day operations. I did meet with the Southwest Regional Planning Group here a few months back to see if they could help create that strategic plan for our department, because I think it's important. You do it at home, right? You budget. If I'm going to buy a car in 2 years, I'm going to start budgeting out for that. If I'm going to want to make improvements in my home, I'm going to start budgeting, planning for that. We need to do that at the government level as well. And we haven't done a real good job with that. And I'm working with them as well as the Extension Office to help put that plan together so that for the next 4 years we can have a solid plan, and even up to 10 years out where we're going to be and what we need to plan for the future. So I feel that because of that, that's going to be, I'll be your best candidate for that, because I am forward thinking and planning for the future. Thank you.
Okay. Ed, is there an issue that hasn't come up tonight or at other parts of the campaign that you feel strongly about?
No, we do need to look to the future, but that's nothing that hasn't come up. As people listen to me and read the stuff that I've written, they can pretty much draw that conclusion themselves. And I haven't held anything back at this point. I know that there are things that need to change within the department. I'm gonna change those things. So I put them all out there right at the beginning, so people can make the educated choice.
Okay, that brings us to the final question tonight. And we're going to ask each of the candidates to answer this final question, which is, why should people vote for you for sheriff? And let's start with that.
Well, it's been discussed over and over and over again. I have the plan for the future. I have a plan to go in and address the current problems that we have now. To separate employees that we're having a problem with. We have a problem with our chief deputy and our captain. We have internal fighting with them too, and they're allowed to do it. I have a plan to go in there and fix that. You know, we sat here tonight and you listened to Nate and I talk, and you've heard us, and we agree on a lot of things. I really think that the question you have to ask yourself is, Nate's been sheriff for 2 years. Why hasn't he addressed them before now? Thank you.
Okay, Nate, why should people vote for you for sheriff?
Well, I think if we look at the sheriff's office overall and in our operations and what happens on a day-to-day basis out in the public, I think you'll find that people are very pleased with how our deputies are operating out in the public. And when they call into the sheriff's office and get a phone and get a voice on the phone, that this person treats them with respect and answers their questions and gets them the appropriate resources that they need. You know, are there internal issues? Not the ones that Ed refers to. I don't see them. I work with these guys on a daily basis. I don't see those issues. You know, are there little quirks and do people butt heads? Sure. If you don't, how do you get opinions to each other? I mean, if you work with somebody and you're working on projects, it's okay to butt heads, all right? Because you need different ideas, but in the end, what's the end result? That you get things done, and that's what's happening. You know, I feel that I'm the better candidate for the sheriff because not only my background, because the trainings and the different things that I've gone to, I'm also somebody that's very much involved in my community. Somebody that's on a daily basis in my community, working with kids, working at my church, working at the school, volunteering for different things. I think it's important that you have a sheriff that does that, that's involved, not only internally, but externally. Internally, we can address all these issues, you know, because I'll work with the county board. I already have. And we're gonna move forward on these different projects because it's right here. It's in their minutes from June. They are moving forward with this. And I will continue to work with them to move forward. And I will work with the other groups such as the Safe Coalition and so forth to again, help promote youth, drug prevention, and working with our staff to be more effective and efficient out on patrol, in the jail, in the dispatch. I'm more well-rounded, I've got more experience working with the public, and I feel I'm the better candidate for sheriff. Thank you.
Okay, I would like to thank the city of Platteville, particularly Kim Lowry, for unlocking that so you can actually hear us. If she hadn't shown up and we were going to have a competition of their lock-picking skills of the candidates, happily we didn't have to do that. So I'd like to thank the city for their role in putting this on and giving us the room and so on. I would remind voters in the city of Platteville that voters, except for those in District 3, vote in the National Guard Armory on North Water Street, and District 3 voters can vote at the Pioneer Student Center. The polls will be open on August 12th from 7 in the morning until 8 in the evening. You could also get an absentee ballot in the city clerk's office. And if you're not from the city, obviously your either city clerk's office or village clerk or town clerk would have all the election information. I would like to thank the candidates for taking the time tonight to participate in this forum. I don't know if there will be another opportunity to hear at the same time the two of them talk about the issues in the sheriff's office and the county. I very much appreciate that as well. If you're able to stay, feel free, and if you have a question that I didn't ask for them, if they're able to stay, that would be great. So thanks for coming.